Hey guys, what's up? Stephen here, and we're back to another Roblox tutorial. And in this tutorial, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the Beam version. We're gonna use it as an effect, and this is how you can adjust it and how you can work on it. So let's start. First and foremost, what you need on the beam is actually something of two parts, wherein these two parts, or it doesn't really have to be two parts, but you need two attachment for it. But we're gonna go off with two parts. It can only be one, and you just want to like connect the attachments on it. I'll show it to you a bit later, but let's use it as two parts. And what we're gonna do is just basic Roblox stuff, wherein we're gonna use what Roblox has. So similarly, if you know, baseplate has its own texture, so we're gonna use that as well. So let's anchor this a bit, and of course, let's attach our beam on our initial part. This is where it would start, and then let's do an attachment. Let's attach it somewhere right here and maybe somewhere right there. So we have two attachment, and on your beam, click on your beam, the one that you put on your part, click on the attachment for the shape, and then click on the other attachment. So there you go, you would have a beam at the moment, and this is something how we would call a good effects, so that it's not gonna lag your system. And if you need something of like a moving, let's say a moving or a GIF in your game to make it more animate, this is how you do it. So let's start. So light influence is basically how your beam is influenced by light. So if let's say you have adjusted your background and make it a little bit more lighter, this is how it would affect it. If you don't want it to be affected by light, just put it on zero. But if you want to be affected, the color to be affected by the current lights that you have, then feel free to adjust. And then let's maybe put that on something along those lines. This is also useful if you're trying to make or imitate a waterfall. Just add something like this in the water and then put smoke down below. What I meant by that is, let's say you have a texture. Let's get the texture of this base plate and let's attach it to this. So if you notice, it's gonna be something like that. So it's too fast at the moment because the segments and we don't really want the curve size, but let's say if you're making a waterfall, you can make use of that. So preferably you'd go on static, so it's a little bit much slower and you don't have it. Actually really depends on the texture. The reason for this is because our base plate is a little bit large and the texture is meant for that largeness. So once we've confined it to little ones, it's gonna be like this. But you can make your own texture. Let's say you have lines there, you can make it a little bit more bluish and then put the lines so it looks like running water, something along those lines. And then texture speed is of course how you could make the texture not move and also have it go backwards. And of course transparency is just the usual old transparency, wherein if you go to one, it's gonna be it's not gonna be working. So the curve size is mostly when you are on the actual curve, but let me show you what that means. So we have a diagonal line here. Supposedly, if I get it to something like that, it's gonna curve, and curve size is something along those lines too. So this is gonna be useful on really useful, and to be honest, I'm also using it for waterways. So tons of water in Roblox could make your game lag. So what we usually do is we just use Beam and then try to do a texture of running water on it, and then put the texture in and then adjust how it would go. So let's say, let's try to, so you see that I'm rotating it and the attachments are moving, but what I actually want to do is have it go above, something like that. And then once we have this, let's move our attachments. So if you want to adjust your beam, what you have to move is your attachment, because the attachment is the one that is working in your beam. So let's try to rotate this a little bit and then move it towards something along those lines. Okay, yeah. So notice that the beam is changing every time I rotate the attachment. So you could also do that. So let's click on our attachment for this. Let's move it and then let's rotate it. Now you notice that the curve is working towards the attachment. So what we want is for it to go something like that. And move it a little bit, something like that. And we're gonna reduce the curve of the beam. And there you would have it. You would have something similar to a waterfall adjusted, if we've adjusted the texture. So just put on something. And if, by the way, if you want the beam to go a little bit larger, so let's say you want to make this larger, just make it to, let's say 10. 10 is too much. Let's make it to 5. That's too much as well. 2.5, maybe 3. Let's say 3.5. Okay, so 3.5, and notice that it still has the same width as the other one, because we've only changed the width of 0, which is that is attachment 0. So if you also want to change the other one, just make it the same or adjust the width. So attachment 0 is width 0 and attachment 1 is width 1. And then texture, and then light influence is how well it influence the light. So let's say you're making a neon sign with your texture and you want it to have like a moving GIF, then just adjust the light influence to max. And yeah, that is how you work with beams. You can be creative on it, and I hope you learned something in this video, and catch you on another video.